Good morning. Happy New Year. It's 2024. It's the first Open Friday coffee of the new year. We have been doing this officially for a year and a half now. So just wanted to let everybody know this is something that started off as kind of a lark. I didn't know if it would was something that would work or not. And it has been very helpful to my students. It's been very helpful to the people I work with on a frequent basis. It's kind of touching base once a week just to get a little bit of inspiration and help for what's going on. And some people do vision boards for their year. Some people pick a word for the year, like expansion or magical, colorful, bold. I've heard all kinds of different ones. One person said, "Oh yeah, my word this year is adventure," and I went, "Oh, you're gonna have a great year." It just depends on what you're after and what you're about. And we have some new things that we're offering in 2024. And I also had several students ask me questions at the same time. And so we're going to be addressing some of those. But before I launch, you know how I start launching and we start rolling. Before we do all of that, does anybody have any questions regarding any of the courses that they've taken or any of the suggestions they received from Open Friday Coffee in the past?
Well, this is a question with regard to I'm trying to improve my workflow and use my time wisely in 2024 and do things differently. And one place I want to focus my marketing efforts is on LinkedIn. And you seem to use LinkedIn a lot, and you have both posts and articles. And so I have two questions. One about a specific way that you post your articles. That you've got these really great little links. They look like bit.ly links, but they seem to have a LinkedIn code and they go to your website, which just seems really awesome. And then the other question I have is just to ask you, what is working for you best right now on LinkedIn, being that you've been on it for so many years?
Okay. One thing to let you guys know is Nancy and I had a conversation right before the end of the year, and she wanted some help with something. And so I needed to answer you on the previous question that you had with me, which was, how do I stay in touch with you and be a part of your programs and all that kind of stuff, but not have to pay, $5,000 or $10,000 for my high ticket programs? I've created the Thriving Authorpreneur program, which is only $37.18 a month. I tried to make it $37 and Stripe added the 18 cents on. So $37.18, Sean will pop that into the link. It's the Thriving Authorpreneur. And you had asked, how do I stay and get more time than just Open Friday Coffee? And so there you go. And what I am currently working on is a highly curated newsletter that will go out only to that group where when I run across experts in the field, which Jeff Bourgeois and I are working on a program, the membership of the Thriving Entrepreneurs are going to be the ones that get that access. So I just wanted to let you know that up front. I'm not trying to sell you guys, just letting you know what I'm doing, okay, and how you can stay involved at a higher level with me and not have to, you know, sell your firstborn or anything like that with that. But Nancy, as far as LinkedIn and what is working, what I highly recommend, and this is something that we had talked about a little bit before, but this is an old book. Okay, this is not new stuff. This is old stuff. But what I find interesting is people very rarely do it. It's called They Ask, You Answer. Okay, now this book, I think it came out in 2009, 2010, but very few people follow through on it, less than 2%. So that will set you apart no matter what your industry is. So what I recommend is you decide, since Nancy is really good with SEO, okay? She's very good at websites, how to bring, if you need help getting more traffic, what I'm about ready to tell you regarding LinkedIn and your website, Nancy can help you with the keywords to do all that, and she can talk to you about pricing. What you do is you do your keyword research like you always do, Nancy. You gave me that whole list of things that you're already involved in. And so once you have those keywords figured out, then every question you've been asked by a customer, that is kind of what our man Marcus here, Marcus Sheridan, is talking about. You write an answer for on your website and then post it as an article on LinkedIn. Okay. And then you just continue to do that. Now, as far as the Bitly links and all that, LinkedIn did that for me. Now, I haven't been writing articles for a while on LinkedIn because I have such a following now on my newsletters. But every once in a while, I'll throw something up there, and I can't remember if it's LinkedIn that does it for you or if it's Bitly itself, because now I have a group that does that for me. So I don't know exactly how they're doing that. As far as LinkedIn, as far as what is working for me, anytime somebody asks, "Hey, I want to connect with you," you will see lovely Lynette. Lynette, if you don't mind, wave to everybody. This is Lynette. If you are on LinkedIn, Facebook, or Alignable, Lynette is taking care of you. And she identifies herself. Hi, I'm Lynette. I'm Janine's media maven, or something fun like that. And she invites them to Open Friday Coffee. And if they start to sell, she's like, "Oh, don't worry, you don't need to reach out to me. Here's Open Friday Coffee's link, register." And so what I highly recommend for people is that you set up a once a week free thing where you sit on it for an hour, sometime that's convenient to you. And then everybody that wants to connect with you has to do it through Open Friday Coffee. Now, I've had a few people that actually have taken my advice and sent me the link when I said, "Hey, I need to connect with you for 15 minutes, blah, blah, blah." And they said, "Sure, come to my Open Friday Coffee like thing." And I'm like, "Sure, no problem." And I signed up and they were the only ones on. And so I was like, great. But they were there because they were building their list. All right. So you may start off where you're showing up every week and maybe only have one or two people. But the big thing is you don't coach, you don't, you know, give any counsel, but you do answer questions. Why? Because the answer that you're giving, you're going to use as pillar content, just like Marcus Sheridan says here in his book. You're going to use it as pillar content. And then every time you create that content, you're going to put it on LinkedIn as an article. Does that help bring the circle around for you, Nancy?
It does, but so does your book.
Thank you.
Hello.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, this little book, which
Yeah.
I love and follow, and yeah, thank you very much.
You're welcome. The $37.18 per month program that I was just telling you about is based on these 4 books. What I did was I took all 4 books and all the content in them, and we'll be going over it this year. So Ditch Your Debt While Banking Bucks, we'll be talking a little bit about the 60/40 rule, author podcasting, how you go about taking your book and taking it on a audio tour, and then the Thriving Solopreneur. As you know, that's why I call it the Thriving Authorpreneur. Money, it's not just for rich people. That was kind of banner book. And then the 12-hour client getting authority book that Jeff Bourgeois and I put together. So that's those books, all that content's going on there. The books will be made available probably mid-February for everybody digitally on there. So you'll get the 4 books plus the other stuff. And it's going to be, like I said, a highly curated program just for folks who want to get a little bit more traction on what they're doing with their stuff. So thanks so much for asking the question, Nancy, and for having the conversations with me. Otherwise, I'd never built the program. Hope that helps you move forward. Okay. Cool. And so thank you everyone else for being here. Anybody else have any questions on what's going on? You have any questions with your any of the programs or anything that we've had? Okay. And the best thing I wanted to share, James Hipkin is with us and in the house. And I just wanted to let you know, we had a funny little thing that happened. He's like, "Janine, Open Friday Coffee, it's available, openfridaycoffee.com. Why don't you use that instead?" And blah, blah, blah. I didn't realize I had purchased it a year and a half ago in October. And I just had never gotten around to redirecting the link. And so thank you for having my back, my friend. But sometimes you get so much going on, you forget what you've purchased and what you need to put together and put in place. So thanks for being with us. So if you need somebody to look over your website and show you how to get customers and visitors to stay longer than 6 seconds, you want to talk to James a little bit. He does these amazing audits. James, do you charge for those, or I can't remember your pricing structure for 2024?
I do charge for it,
Okay.
although I more often than not use it as a lead magnet. So in that case, it's not being charged for.
Yeah.
But it's redirects are your friend. Don't do the yourobscuredomainname.com/book hyphen time hyphen with hyphen me. Don't do that. Do things like VIPchatwithjames.com. Easy to say, easy to spell, easy to remember URL, and it just makes things, everybody's like, do it for workshops, for master classes, whatever it is you're doing. It just makes super, super sense.
Thanks so much, James. And one of the fun things that I learned about that, which is why I have way too many domain names, but I love it, is I did myvirtualbooktour.com, and that led to a free lead magnet for the Media Kit workshop when I was building that out. And so that was very helpful because everybody that I chatted with could immediately type that in when I was on podcasts and that sort of thing. And it was easy to spell and people got there. So I had quite a bit of organic traffic from podcasts based on that. So I just wanted to let you folks know about that. So for those of you who joined us a little bit later, I just want to say happy 2024 to you. We're going to be running around the horn here in just a minute with folks, but first we're going to have our 1-minute tech tip with Matt Roseman. And Happy New Year, Matt.
Happy New Year, people. It's good to see everybody. It's been a whole year. Good to see you, Nancy. I'll have to sit there and have a conversation with you once I get back to South Florida. Right now I'm in Northern Florida, away on a workcation, but I still wanted to come on here to say hi. I know you mentioned about the 1-minute tech tip, Janine, but actually what I'm going to do this time around, I'm going to give tech predictions.
Oh, let's hear it.
We are entering a new year, and what is technology going to bring for 2024? So I did a little bit of homework here, and I want to share with you my predictions on where your technology may go this year and how it's going to ascertain to you, and how can you utilize it and not just left behind, but also not be caught off guard, so to speak. So AI is going to get regulated. I believe that's going to happen, and I think this will be very prevalent, unfortunately, when the election comes later this year, where you're going to have certain tools that authenticate a picture to say, okay, was it generated by like DALL-E and not the llama, or is it going to sit there and was it a deep fake? So the problem is with AI, how you know it's real or not, they're going to have like some type of seal approval. Like I remember like Nintendo cartridges had like a seal approval back in the day. Well, that's kind of what will happen with AI going forward. Also, EV sales, they're going to slow this year, but the one caveat that is going to take off is the infrastructure is going to take off in terms of the number of places you could charge, the consortium between a whole bunch of different car manufacturers, Tesla and their NACS charger becoming a standard. So that will take off to help get EVs to where they are, besides the tax credit, which is $75 off instantly at the dealership, even though not every model will sit there and apply. Also, you're going to have AI and more devices. Going back to AI, your PC, your Mac, your smartphones, chips from like Intel and AMD and Qualcomm and NVIDIA are all going to have AI or an AI component there at some point. For those of you who are also looking to spend less money on machines and you want to get a Chromebook, Google has announced 10 years of software updates. That is awesome. So if you plan on getting something cheapy for like a kid in school, or you just want something that's low in maintenance, good to sit there and know there. Also, speaking of positive things as well, Apple's finally going to sit there and allow Android to talk nice. No more green bubbles for your text messages. That will go the way of the dodo, supposedly, with something called RCS messaging. Passwords. How many people think passwords and remembering them are a pain in the ass? Well, guess what? Passwords are going to go the way of the dodo slowly this year as well. There's something called Passkey. And so for those of you now who use your face or your fingerprint to sign into something, that's become more commonplace to be able to sit there and get on the sites, so you won't need to remember your passwords and getting in. Those different tools will help you. The last thing that's going to come out this year that'll be very interesting is things like your Apple Watch or Google Wear are going to be able to detect your blood pressure. How awesome is that? because my phone will be going off the hook, every 5 seconds then. So, but again, that type of technology investment in health and science is what I'm really looking forward to as well. So those are some of my tech predictions for this year. I'm gonna put my information in chat. If you're having any tech troubles or IT irritations, let me know. I'll be more than happy to help you out. Thanks again, Janine. Good seeing everybody on here. I wish everybody a happy and healthy 2024.
Thank you so much, Matt. And go ahead and don't forget to put your contact information in the chat for us. We want to stay on top of things. So Matt is the person that works on my computer, and we have several other people here on Open Friday Coffee that are very grateful for Matt's services. When you buy that new computer and you realize, wow, we are not in Kansas anymore, I don't even know how to answer some of these questions as it goes up. Now, does anybody have any questions before we move on to the next section, which is we're going to have everybody introduce themselves and talk to us a bit. And I was talking about the seduction and terror of productivity. That came from a student of mine where we were on our writer's hour. And what was interesting was she's like, I think I'm done with the seduction and terror of productivity things. And we ended up talking as authors for a good 45 minutes just on that topic of the seduction and terror, where you get pushed almost by the way other people are talking to you on Zoom, how programs are being marketed to you, the pressure that you feel when other people are describing to you how you should be doing these things as business owners. And we have that as business owners being hit at us so frequently and so often, it's kind of hard to find your own equilibrium. And so I was going to ask Mark Mathis to talk to us a little bit. He is our Reset It guy. If you aren't familiar with Mark, he has a 90-minute program that he can run you through and help you reset your mindsets. And so when I find myself slogging in the mud, and it's not in my best interest to be slogging through the mud, I give Mark a call and he helps me reset my mindset so I can get moving on. And sometimes you just need that sort of thing. So Mark, if you wouldn't mind chatting with us real quick, I'd love to have your
hello,
perspective.
everybody. I'm the other Canadian. Jeff is the first one, so I'm the other Canadian. So
We love the Great White North. We love the Great White North.
We're minus 13 degrees Celsius here in Montreal, so it's getting colder. So Jenny, you just mentioned the other stuff that other people will transfer their programming, their conditionings onto you. And what happens is that you get that energy that energy that comes with it. That's what affects you. So just be aware that whatever other people are telling you, just be aware that it's a program, a condition, or a belief of themselves, nothing to do with you. And that's what really it's all about. It's about who you are, receiving what you need to receive, and that's it. Don't get involved in the things that don't belong to you. Really that simple.
And hard to remember sometimes, though. Especially when it's the heat of the moment. Takes a moment, takes a breath.
Well, if you're in the heat of the moment and it takes you outside of that state of who you are, you're in a program. So whatever you're going to say from there on is always going to be a result of your programming, all the results of what's happening. Just breathe in, take it one step at a time, and just reset it.
Thank you very much.
And don't forget about your favorite color.
Favorite color.
Thanks, Rich.
Thank you so much, guys. Love having you with us. Mike, talk to us a little bit about what 2024 has in store for you.
All right, Janine, thanks, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
After we talked, I changed my background. As much as I love the fitness industry and I love storytelling, it's what I do. It's way too confusing when people see this. So my background, the microphone tells you I'm a speaking coach. If you didn't get that, I also have my logo. And you know the story of the train. This year, taking a trip across the United States, throughout the United States on Amtrak 30-day rail pass. Because I've been in Peru for 11 years, and I feel not only do I miss the pizza in New York, but I really feel disconnected, like it's not my country anymore. So I really want to see the States. The plan, I don't even want to say plan. What I'm doing this coming August is the Toastmasters International Convention, and that's in Anaheim. It's the 100th anniversary of Toastmasters. That's where it starts. It's where it started. We're all going back to where it begins. That means I got to qualify for the international semifinals. I'm working on that right now. And from that convention, this train is actually at the Fullerton, California station. That's where the adventure begins. It ends in New York. Where it goes in between, I still don't know. That's the whole point. And to make this happen, now you have certain professional goals to make that happen. That's what's up with me. I want to make a little contribution on the speaking world, and I might had a really really thorough tech tip today. We have AI tools for speech coaching, and it does help you if English is your second language. But a lot of it is that I really can't say a nice thing about it. It programs, in fact, there's I don't even want to say the name of it, but there's a speech coaching platform out there that uses AI. And I read Shakespeare into it. Tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow creeps in this petty pace. I can impress you with my knowledge of Shakespeare, but I read the entire, I recited the entire soliloquy. And you want to know the feedback I got from it? Well, first off, tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow is redundant, so I should just consider condensing that to tomorrow or day after day. And it went on to make a few other suggestions. Macbeth says that life is a tale told by an idiot. And apparently, according to this platform, the woke filter says that idiot is ableist language, and it might be offensive to some idiots out there. So you can't say that anymore. So no more Shakespeare. Then the platform rewrote the entire soliloquy and said, try it this way. It's more poetic. So I hope that if technology makes your life easier, technology makes this meeting possible, that I can come to you from Peru. Just be more selective with your technology. People are hyping up the technology because it's a good way to get into companies. If I call up a human resources manager and say, hey, I want to teach your people how to be better public speakers, they'll say, eh. But if I say, I have a new AI platform, they'll say, come right in. So it's no more than an entry tool to get into companies. It has nothing to do with what's good for the customer. Absolutely nothing. I can go off on this all day. I just want you to be wary of AI tools in speech coaching.
Thank you, Mike. This is why we love having you guys on, because all of you are working in different arenas, you're working in different industries, and you're helping us. And we have John Chen that joined us. And so I'm going to go ahead and have John on for just a moment, and then we'll get to Rich, and then Brian, and then Jeff. But John, thank you for joining us this morning. Happy New Year 2024.
Happy New Year. Greetings from Portland, Oregon today.
Keep Portland weird, right? Keep Portland weird. Do what you can. So what does 2024 have in store for you, my friend? Do you know?
What does 2024 have in store for me? Today, I will submit my application to become a certified speaking professional with NSA or with National Speakers Association. So that's what's one of my goals for 2024. And I think I have a good shot. You need 250 presentations in the last 10 years. I have actually documented 600.
Oh, bravo. Bravo. Yeah. So congratulations on that. And is there anything this group can do for you? Can we help you in some way?
Oh, I am looking this year for programs that are hybrid, or is it virtual or hybrid, that you think could be more engaging. That's really what's on my hot list this year.
Okay. And are you familiar with Jeff Bourgeois, who's also part of Open Friday Coffee? I think the two of you may need to connect, because the two of you both work at that expert level. And that is where help is greatly needed for encouraging people how to make that happen. So that's always the first recommendation that I have. Okay. John, anything else we can do to help you with?
Go to the chat and give me any advice. My big news of the year is that my oldest son tells me that him and his wife are expecting, which would make me a grandfather for the first time.
Bravo! Congratulations! That's fabulous. I cannot assist you with that. My children have not done that yet. I haven't been blessed with being a grandmother yet. So yeah, we'll have to get other people to encourage you and help you in that. So I'm sure the chat will start running about now on that, giving you plenty of advice. John, thanks for sharing so much with us. I appreciate
You're welcome.
you.
Thanks for
Yeah,
having me.
yeah, and can't wait to hear more from you. Next time you come on, we'd love to have a tip from you if you don't mind. Okay. So happy New Year and thank you for being here today. Yeah. And then Rich Fire, our branding expert, is in the house. One of those beautiful people who always is working on the color wheel, where some of us like to stay in black and white. Hi, Rich. Happy 2024.
Oh, hoo hoo.
Who was
Oh,
no more
wow.
than two.
Oh my gosh. So first of all, when Mike started quoting Shakespeare, when Mike started quoting the Tomorrow's Speech, that's like my favorite. And I'll tell you something about that next to nobody knows. My in between my sets, in between the sets at the gym are 30 seconds. And if I don't have a watch with me, the Tomorrow's Speech is what I say because that takes about 30 seconds. So when you said that, I about fell off my chair. All right. So I am a brand designer, but before I talk about that, I want to talk about my photograph this week because my photograph changes every week depending on what I've stumbled upon. This was a true to life. This was a serious hood ornament on a car. I mean, you got to give props to somebody who's that into whatever they're up to in life, and they want to put that on the front of their car. So, anyway, that being said, I'm not going to give you any tips today, but I'm going to tell you a couple things that are significant about what happened branding wise on this date in history. In 1914, Henry Ford created something completely revolutionary, setting $5 per day wages for all of his workers, which allowed them the ability to afford a Ford motor car. So that happened on January 5th, 1914. Gene Autry. Everyone know Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. 1950 on this date, it hit the number one on the Billboard pop charts. And way back in 1972, Richard Nixon signed a bill authoring $5.5 million, which you have to look back 1972's dollars value, for the beginning of funding to develop the space shuttle. So interesting things that have happened on this date in history. And you think about the space shuttle, but you don't think about the lag time or the lead time that took to get to that point. And if you haven't read about lately, I'll talk in a future about the NASA logo and how the current logo, which is referred to as the worm, has been around for like 30 years, and they've been trying to get rid of it, and they just can't do it. But it's the brand that won't die. Anyway, on that note, can I just end with I want to share a piece of gratitude, a huge amount of gratitude that I have. I was walking after I left my office last night, walking to the subway. The wind picked up, and in one of those huge umbrellas that sits like guard on a table lifted up and smashed me in the face. It came flying up and smashed me in the face, knocked me on my ass. My glasses were shattered. The firemen showed up. The EMT showed up. And meanwhile, I'm bleeding, and I finish with all that. I'm fine. There was a LensCrafters, a 7-minute walk. They had my frames in stock. And my glasses took the brunt of all that. I would have been probably in the hospital if I had gotten hit directly. I mean, if it weren't for my glasses. So something that seems so whatever on the surface, all I could think of is how grateful I am that I'm not injured, that I'm not, and I had the forethought, and I didn't know this, to buy the insurance, the insurance for the frames, so it only cost me $25.
Woohoo! That's the best part. Especially some of
So,
us who wear glasses understand how expensive
so
that
I
is.
just wanted to express my deep level of gratitude with the universe for taking care of me, because this could have been a nightmare.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So anyway,
So, salud.
anyway, thrilled to be here, everybody. Thank you.
Yep. Happy New Year. New peepers that you're able to see. That would be great. Okay. Next, as I was sharing with you about the newsletter, there was a bit in there. And so, Sean or Lynette, I'll have you guys put it in the chat. One of the things I'm learning about SEO is that you need to have reviews on your company for Google. And I looked and I realized I don't have a single review on Google reviews for my company. So we're putting in the chat, if you wouldn't mind at some point today, putting a review of some kind, and you could pretty much say anything. I will reply, and it won't be Lynette because Lynette does not take care of our Google reviews. It will be Janine for the first couple of months. I'll be happy to reply to your review. But I just want to say thank you for that. And our friend in Maui, Crystal Dietrich, was the first one to get on there and actually put a Google review. So I was very grateful. Thank you for that, Crystal. Also grateful for you folks showing up here. Thank you for being here. I know there are many places that you can be on a Friday. And I also wanted to give a shout out to a man that I have worked with for over 20 years. He and I are both shocked by that because we met at a very tiny town called Cedar City, Utah. And he worked at the local radio station, and I worked at the local college, George Wythe College, and we were both students there because I was getting my master's. He was working on his baccalaureate. And it was one of those things when I talk about how I trudged around in 2005 with my book, Money, It's Not Just for Rich People. And I'd go to local radio stations and ask to be a part of their talk radio. Brian was the very first one that said, sure, we'd love to have you. And so as soon as I got done with the radio program, I'd run downstairs and down the block to a local used bookstore because people would walk in and try to buy the book. That's how much action you would get by being on a radio show in that time, in that place. So that's how Janine started with her promotion of books and all that kind of stuff. So Brian has been the male voice on all of my audiobooks. If you have heard him on any YouTube channels, all that, if you hear this male voice, it happens to be Brian Hyde. So Brian, if you would unmute yourself. And he has a amazing newsletter called Hide in Plain Sight. So do you mind telling us a little bit about your newsletter?
You bet. Thank you. And Happy New Year to everybody. Hide in Plain Sight, of course, is just a play off my last name, which unfortunately has a very unfortunate association with Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I've been working to overcome that stigma for many years, but Hide in Plain Sight is just a very short form, like 250 word essay that I publish weekdays, Monday through Friday, that is as non-political as I can make it. It's all about encouraging people to claim their autonomy, their own self-determination, to find the courage to speak what's on their mind, and to basically find peace with themselves and not look for someone else to give them permission or cues that it's okay to move forward with their life. And I think this is probably more for me than anybody else. But it's a big departure from the days where I would throw, great bushels of red meat to people in order to get the audience all worked up. I feel like it's a higher and better use of what I have to work with. And it's a small but growing, newsletter, but I would encourage you, if you go onto Substack, Hide in Plain Sight is something I'd love for you to consider looking at. And I offer it for free. I do have some people who have chosen to throw their support behind it and become, regular, paid subscribers. But generally, it's a free subscription because I just want to drop a little truth bomb and let you move on with your day.
Thank you very much. And the reason I am bringing Brian up to the surface of people's consciousness is he's got a sponsor that's starting to sniff around and look at his list, as well as the other content that he has going on. And so Hide in Plain Sight is the name of the newsletter. But what's neat is I've been listening to Brian for years, of course, and I always get excited when sponsors kind of pop around and start saying, oh, talk to us a little bit more. And would you be willing to do a radio show? Because Brian does radio very, very well. So thanks so much. I appreciate you being with us. He also had me on one of his shows, and he's also in the newsletter, and occasionally we'll take some of his content. And so Brian and I swap content back and forth on newsletters, especially if we find it appropriate. In this new year, with people being so polarized and people getting uptight if you use the wrong pronoun in a restaurant and stuff like that. By having all of these micro aggressions, as some people call them, happening around, I just thought as business owners, it's nice to have just a strong voice of clarity sometimes. And so Brian is that. Sometimes he's just there to kind of say, okay, let's laugh at ourselves a bit. So just a little something there regarding Brian. And then Shailene, you have just joined us. Thank you so much for being with us today. Happy New Year, and go ahead and unmute yourself. And how can we help you today? What's cooking in your world?
Happy New Year, everyone. I was up with a sick child all night, so that's why I'm
Oof.
a little
Oof.
one of those situations. And she gets so upset because she says she always gets sick when she's off school, like on the holidays. I've been talking a lot with Jeff. What my focus is going to be for 2024 is going to be on attracting the right clients. That's my big thing, attracting the right clients. And I don't mean to sound mean when I say this, but like repel the wrong clients, because it's a waste of time for everybody. So that's my big focus for this year.
Okay. And do you use a website to attract your clients, or because some industries you can't use a website?
Yeah.
How do you, oh, you use a website?
Yeah, it's being
okay.
redone now. Yeah, I have someone who's redoing it now.
Are they really well trained with SEO and keywords? They
Yeah.
are? Okay. So you've got
Yes.
somebody for that?
Yeah.
All right.
yeah.
If you'd like somebody to kind of check over the work after it's all done, just to see if there's any refinement, may I encourage you to reach out to Nancy Fields, who's on the call today.
Okay.
She and you and she can talk about a price point for
Yeah.
her to just kind of look things over. I like doing that, even though I love my team. Okay. I love my team who does SEO, but I always bring in somebody who's not familiar with me or my work. And I
Mhm.
always have them double check everything, because sometimes they come up with an idea and I'm willing to pay for that just because I just need that other perspective. My team's been working with me. Like I say, I hang on to people. It's like Brian and I have been together for 20 years, and my team and I have been together for almost 9 years now. And
Mhm.
sometimes you get in ruts, and so it's helpful. So just a
Yeah.
suggestion. You don't have to listen to me.
No, I appreciate
Just an
it.
idea.
I think it's a great idea, actually. Second set of eyes is very good.
Yeah. Okie dokie. And then before we go around the horn and open this up, I wanted to remind everyone that if you already have a book, how are you doing with the promotion of your book? Do you have in mind for 2024 what you're doing with your book to help promote what's cooking in your world? Just remember that it never is not evergreen. I mean, your book is evergreen. It's something you've published, it's three-dimensional. And the reason I bring this up is I'm getting to a point that I've been an author so long that now I have to worry about common copyright, and I need to I have to edit my book and republish it to keep it under the 25-year mark for American common copyright, which I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe 20 years has gone by. So this is something that's why, like, look at your books, even if you think they're outdated or what have you, still there's content in them. And the reason I bring this up, with so much noise being made about AI, I just wanted to remind you, go to stuff that you know you wrote that didn't have AI associated with it. And one of the fun things I like to do in my newsletters now is I'll purposely have a mistake in there just to see if anybody catches it. And I always like to say, see, I don't use AI because I use AI for my outline or something like that, but I rewrite everything because I'm highly aware that it's taking information that may not be appropriate for me to take. I know as an author how important that is. So I am saying all of that because we have with us Jeff Bourgeois today, who is one of our third Canadian online. Thank you for the Great White North being represented, as well as the South with our friends from Peru. It's always a delight to have everybody here, Northern and Southern hemispheres. But Jeff has been working on his focus on what he's doing. And as you know, we have the Podcasters Playhouse that's showing up, and the Podcasters Playground that we're going to be doing together this year. So if you're interested in those events as a podcaster, please sign up. Sean and Lynette will put the link in the chat for you. But Jeff, talk to us about 2024 and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Hi, everyone. I think 2024, I'm going to be the devil's advocate because I think I've been anti-AI for a long time, and I spent the last 2 months playing with AI, and it turns out I was either born to play with AI or AI was programmed to play with Jeff. Either way, we had a lot of fun. And to your comment, Janine, about old books, one of the magical things I figured out, and this is an ethical thing, upload your book. Remember that word, your book.
Your book. Yes.
Not
yes.
someone
well said.
else's. But if you upload your books, and this was the magical piece, if you upload your book into AI, and I'm going to say that 4.0 is probably a little better than 3.5, but you can do it either way. You can extract old key takeaways, you can extract themes, you can create LinkedIn, like the magic is endless. And the key is, if it's your content, you can read it and go, you know, AI, you're having one of your hallucinations, come back a little, because AI does hallucinate. But if you do that well, and Janine, I'm going to do a workshop on that if you want to play with me on that one. I think
Okay.
we need to, because I I spent an entire week playing with AI to get better cleaned transcripts for a podcast. And it is amazing once you clean the transcripts. And by the way, Janine, you can tell it to make some errors just so it looks human.
Thank you.
But it's all in the prompt. And so I'm going to give you all a gift. If you're using AI, you tell it to pretend. And by the way, AI loves to play make-believe. So you say, AI, please pretend you are a prompting engineer and you're world-class at what you do. Help me redesign my prompt so I get the best result possible.
Thank you.
That little thing, and you know, world-class systems engineer, world-class podcaster, it gets you a better result.
And I've also learned that saying please and thank you, and I always say, do you have a minute? I need help with XYZ. It is amazing the different responses that I get rather than treating it like a machine. It's fascinating. I've always found that fascinating.
If you swear at it, it occasionally times you out quickly and says you need a break. I'm just saying. We've spent a lot of time together.
It's a relationship. I love it. Yes, Sean, what can we do for you?
Earlier you'd asked me to link, post a link, but I didn't quite hear what you wanted me to link the last time you spoke about linking something. What would you like me to link? Which one?
It was the Google reviews.
Okay, I got that one.
You got that one?
I can do it
again. and then I can't remember
Okay.
right now this moment. If somebody wants it, they'll remind me. I don't like promoting, as you know. So I mean, in that way. So whatever
you can just
people
private
need.
message me, folks, and I'll get it set.
Yeah, Sean will help you out if I promise something and it didn't come through. Let me know. Anyhow, so thanks, Jeff. I also, Jeff sent me a 7-minute video I was able to watch saying, this is my grandmaster plan for the year. I don't do vision boards, Janine, but here you go. This is my thing. As you guys know, I'm very big into vision boards because they work so well. They're very passive for me. How you choose to set up your year is up to you as a creative. I want you to do it your way. But I also then take the year on calendars and I use old school paper because that's how I was trained. And I write it all out and I write out how I want to do my launches and all that kind of stuff. And it's like anything, as the great generals would say, the battle plan is perfect. It's going to work. Everything's fabulous until the first shot is fired. And then after that, it's all about flow. But the thing is you had a plan and it's important to have your targets. And I don't like to call them goals, because goal setting has this seduction to it as well as a terror. It can be used to motivate rather than, as creatives, we need inspiration. And so as I'm talking about goals and that sort of thing, I always say targets, because you get points for getting close. Sometimes you realize you don't need to hit the target you thought you had set for yourself. But if you get close, I want you to have that sense of accomplishment. So say you wanted 18,000 people on your subscriber list and you only made 14,000. Does that make you a failure? No, you've got 14,000 new people on your subscribers list. So this is the kind of thing that I'm talking about, is that if you're too heavy on the goal setting, you don't give yourself the credit that you deserve for the work that you've put in. And so one of the things I'm going to do is John Chen was kind enough to put into the chat for us. And you guys may not know this, but he helps with virtual meetings. And this is something I've wanted to do for a while, but I had some issues. And I'm really glad he reminded me. I was like, oh yeah, I was supposed to do that. It was part of that endless Janine's to-do list that it probably got too far down. So John, I'm going to go ahead and cue you. Talk to us, if you don't mind, about these beautiful tips that you put into the chat. The first one is to make the first 5 minutes of a meeting more engaging. Play music. Now, I have music for Open Friday Coffee, but I'm such a podcaster. I wait to doing the outros or the intros. And yeah, I probably should do that at the beginning. So talk to us about that if you don't mind.
Yeah, thanks, Janine. Well, one that you just came around that the first 5 minutes are so important just because it sets the whole tone for the meeting. And it's funny because at least in my experience, 99% of the virtual audience does not use music. But if Janine plays, her favorite song, you can change the mood of almost everybody in this group within 3 seconds, right? With a song like that. So to do that, Janine, do you have the music queued up? I'll actually show you.
Oh, I will ask you to do that at another time, because the honest answer is I just got a new computer. And so I have it. Yes. Where it is, I'm not going to waste time trying to find it right now.
No problem. So
but
Janine,
thank you.
do me a favor. Give me any song.
Happy.
Happy. Okay. So Happy by a good friend Pharrell. So what we do with that is that next time that you want to do this is that you can play the music, and then let's see if you gave me share screen access. Thank you. It's share screen advanced. So on the top, there's a menu that says basic and advanced, and then computer audio. So I just clicked it now, and our good friend Pharrell has joined us.
And thank you very much, Pharrell. We appreciate you. Yeah, thank you. I have to be careful. I have music that I use that isn't that is royalty free. And
Oh, yes, of course.
I always give the creators oh my gosh, I always reference their work, and I have their email address, not your email, their WordPress sites and all that kind of stuff, because I just want to honor the creatives that do that. So yeah.
I
not our
honor them
music.
too. I honor them too, Janine, because I own an ASCAP license. But
Okay.
of course, if you put it on social media, it still doesn't care about that. But I do pay
No, it doesn't.
artists. Yeah.
Yeah. And thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, I work like you. I've worked in radio for so long that I just am very aware of all of the entanglements you can have. And since I do post this on YouTube, that's one of the things I'd like to recommend to everyone, is that if you are going to use music and use broadcasting, make sure that you're taking care of your creative. I have had people that I have reached out to and said, hey, I want to use your music at my workshop. I'll be broadcasting it here, here, and here. How much do you want as royalties? This is a free workshop. And they go, just honor me and put this link. They're very sweet. So thank you, John. Playing music, I totally agree with you on that. And thank you for walking us through how you go about doing that on Zoom. Any other great bits?
I want to support Janine's tip, which is fine. If you don't want to buy a license, fine local musicians get their permission for something they haven't published yet, and then give them credit. It is a great way, especially on public programs. Thanks again, Janine.
Oh, yeah, no problem. And so if you are interested in having engaging virtual meetings, please reach out to John. If you'd be kind enough to put your contact information in the chat, that would be delightful. He has more additional tips, and we're going to talk to him about his lead magnet and being able to have, this is how you go about your how you get engagement in the first 5 minutes of your virtual meetings. And do you have a lead magnet like that, John?
I do. I'll put it inside here. I have a link tree that I can
Okay.
share.
Okay, lovely. Thank you. And so that way everybody can benefit from that for your virtual meetings. Okay. So that's everybody around the horn. Are there any questions? We have 10 minutes left before we wrap up today. So does anybody have any questions or suggestions or something that they've learned they want to share with the rest of the group, please? Go, Mike.
All righty. I was in a webinar yesterday about referrals and affiliates being the absolute greatest way to promote your business. Of course, it was a 60-minute PowerPoint presentation. I really didn't pay attention to it. So I'm asking the group now if you have any insights on, are these affiliate programs the golden ticket to a prosperous 2024?
I have my opinion. I'll hold it till last. Anybody else want to share what they have experienced when they have reached out to do referrals and affiliates? Go ahead, James.
Affiliates is, and either being an affiliate or asking other people to be an affiliate, it's a tactic. A golden ticket, don't think so. But it is definitely something that can be in the mix. It's also a great way to stimulate employees. My content specialists are all affiliates for our products. And when they're working with clients, they're getting incented to suggest to the client that, you really ought to think about this. Probably more than half of the affiliate income that I have paid out over the past year, I've actually paid to employees. So that's, in my mind, is a win-win.
Nice. I was in a group that was pretty aggressive at get the sale. And it was a little too extreme, but the other opposite is every time you see somebody, you need what I do, and they kind of cop out by saying, let's do a partnership instead. So we came up with an acronym of collaborations, referrals, affiliations, and partnerships.
Yeah, OPL, other people's lists, is a great way to, partner with other people. I'll promote your thing on my list. You can promote my thing on your list. And if there's an affiliate connection, the other thing to watch out for is affiliates is another one of those pieces that people get taken advantage of. You're paying $80 or $50, whatever it is, a month for Thrivecart or whatever affiliate thing it is. All of that can be done on a properly built website. You don't have to pay all these third parties to do this stuff if you actually have somebody on your team who knows what they're doing.
Okay. Yes, go ahead, Shailene.
When talking about this subject, I think of things that Jeff and I have talked about many times about the best relationship or the best referrals you're getting. That's it's relational, not transactional. So I think between the relational versus the transactional, I think sometimes it feels like maybe, people want your money more than they really care about if they're sending you a referral. So it's kind of funny on that subject. I still think the best people are who like people who introduce me, like I learned about Eugenie through Jeff. So, so these, I think relational just works better for me than transactional. I do taxes.
All right. I hear you. Anybody else have any comments they want to share regarding the difference between referrals and affiliate stuff? I find that people try to rush too quickly into affiliates before they've established the relationship. So I've had people that I've been on them for, I've been with them on one phone call, or they've come to Open Friday Coffee and they want me to be an affiliate with them. And what I find interesting is when I say, well, what have you done already for this? They don't even have copy written yet for whatever it is they're doing. They're just gathering the affiliates. And so I've had those sorts of experiences. And then I've had really good experiences where I've had people come to me that said, I do not have a list. I would like to build a list. They were incredibly transparent with me. I'm like, let's do a workshop together. I'll introduce you to my people and I'll run the workshop through my newsletter. We'll see if we can't get some traction for you. And it was highly beneficial to both parties. So for those of you who have had the negative experiences, I've also had the positive, but it was always with somebody I had built a relationship with first. And so as far as workshops like Nancy Fields and James Hipkin, and I have had workshops together, Jeff Bourgeois. And so if you're interested in running a workshop with me, usually that's a program that I run. It's a charge only because I have copy that I have already printed out, and it's one of those things that I can teach you how to do the quick cash that you can receive through a workshop, a paid workshop. And the biggest item I can tell you if you decide to do a workshop is you don't pitch. That's what webinars are. Webinars are you keep them on for 90 minutes, telling them how wonderful you are in your program and have the testimonials and the things and the benefits and all that. And you spend 90 minutes doing that. And that is a very viable model when you're trying to work through quite a few leads, like you're really combing through leads. But the workshop model is more like it's quick cash, but you're also delivering a solution to a problem. And you can also build your list with that. So especially if you're partnering with other people. So I've seen those sorts of things work out very well. And then James, I like what you said about your employees. That's fabulous, because I do the same thing with my folks. It's like, okay, everybody, here's your affiliate links. This is what we're running this time. So anyhow, Judy, happy New Year. It's lovely to see you, dear. And we only have about 4 minutes, but is there anything we can do to help you? And oh, thank you for letting me use my sign. Go ahead and put yourself on mute or off of mute.
Even if we just have 4 minutes, I just wanted to say thanks. I'm so grateful. I finally got around to checking my emails and thought, oh, okay, I can join this today. So thanks. That was just good information. And Janine, I really feel a divine connection, and so it's so lovely to hear and touch other people who are like-minded. So thanks again. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. And the feeling is mutual, and anything we can do to help you or your business, feel free to show up here and ask questions. This is the group to do that with. They're very supportive of one another. And does anybody else have anything they care to share in the next 3 minutes before we launch? Go ahead, Jeff, and then Shailene. Go ahead, Jeff.
I just wanted to share that our friend James is about to be a published author.
Oh, bravo.
He was going to write a technical how-to book, but somehow it turned into a parable. So we're going to meet somehow. It went through the universal filter and became a book. So I literally just sent James the first chapter. And I hope he's as excited as I was, because the universe and I played with the script, and it came out to be really fun.
Okay, bravo.
Fun is always fun.
It's true. It's true. Thank you very much. And James, when you get a copy of it, hold it up, let us know. We'll buy it off of Amazon. Go ahead, Shailene. You had your hand up too, dear.
Yep, I'll make it really quick. When you and Jeff start the podcast, can you get me the information? Because I'd like to send it out to my
That was the
family.
link. That was the link I forgot, Sean. The Podcasters Playground. There's a link for that.
Thank you. I'd like to share that with a lot of people.
No
Thank you.
problem. Yeah, go ahead, Jeff.
Sorry, I forgot to share one more thing. I took 2 weeks off, and by 2 weeks off, that means that Jeff only published 5 books. But the Billionaire Belief System is now on Amazon. I would love feedback on that one. I had a lot of fun. I played with 25 billionaires, and I distilled their essence and their core. And surprisingly, there's a huge amount of philanthropy in there.
Mhm.
And the other one I would say is just play with your words. It should be fun writing the book.
Thanks so much. And we're closing in on the hour. And I just wanted to say, I can think of no better way to spend my very first Friday of the new year than here at Open Friday Coffee with you wonderful people. And I want to say thank you for taking time to be here. The amount of content that you folks share so willingly, the tips that you give, your lead magnets, and the fact that you're willing to take the advice that you have and share it with us. I'm very appreciative of all of that, because it does nothing but make the world a better place. And so when people are like, so what are you doing this weekend? I'm like, oh, my Friday is my beginning of my weekend. So I just wanted to say thank you for making my day. And I know you've made the days of others. So you guys have a fabulous weekend. We'll see you next week. Okay. Take care of yourselves. Bye now.